It has been almost a week since the model HiDream O1 was released, and many users were comparing the model with the Z image, which resulted in many users disliking this model. It looks like the model has a different use case than generating realistic images. The model is capable of text-to-image generation and image editing, but it is more focused on making posters, producing product images, and generating text. It is not very good for realistic images, which is acceptable if it has some other advantages, like understanding complex prompt. I tried generating a few images with such prompt, and the generated images were good enough to give ideas to the creative people working for marketing. I was very specific with the prompt here. The character has been described first, followed by the standard poses of the character: jumping pose, relaxing pose, combat pose, and then a surprised pose with expressions. Other details for the image have been mentioned below, and the resulting image was generated exactly as described in the prompt. The model I am using here is the smaller FP8 dev model, which is also the distilled model. This means it generates images faster in comparison to the base model. Above is the BF16 base model, which is larger than the FP8 model, and also capable of producing better images. But it takes around 60 steps, while the distilled model below can generate a finished image within 30 steps. These are the models released for ComfyUI, and I was using this file, the FP8 model. I also noticed the model has been updated by HiDream on Hugging Face. Let's wait for a few more days. So if you want to try the distilled model, then you need to get one of these dev models. With a CFG value of 1, you should be able to generate an image within 30 steps. The other files are the base model. For the base model, you need to keep the CFG value around 5, and then 50 to 60 steps to get the final image. These models are not censored, which could be great for some users, but the model is not trained to produce such content. However, these are open source models, and we also have the base model, which means we can train LoRA and fine-tune it further to get the desired images. There is this MXFP8 file, which is better suited for NVIDIA's 5000 series graphics card. In ComfyUI, it should work on older cards as well, but this should be fast on a Blackwell card. So if you have the latest 8GB GPU, then definitely give this model a try. These models work in pixel space instead of latent space, so they do not require any additional files like clip encoders or a VAE. The connections you see in the workflow are only present to make the nodes work, because these nodes were originally designed for diffusion models that operate in latent space. This was also the reason why support for this model was delayed for a few days in ComfyUI. The discussion can be found on GitHub, and the workflow I am using is shared somewhere in this discussion by Kijai, which I'm not able to find right now. I also made a text-to-image workflow. The text-to-image workflow is very simple. To make this work for image editing, you just need to bring an image in here, just after the positive and negative prompt nodes. Connect this HiDream reference image node like this. Now the image will be a condition with a prompt, and the final image will be based on the prompt within the condition. You can connect multiple images here. The maximum I tried was 5, and I ran a couple of tests. The result generated was fine and acceptable. But getting the prompt using GPT was time-consuming. Now, coming to the realistic image, which many of the users disliked, I will keep this image node aside and bypassed, and type the prompt. The prompt is about a girl, and run the workflow. I am using the distilled model with a CFG value of 1 and 28 steps. This is the result generated, and this reminds me of the early days of Flux models. Actually, this is more plastic than Flux models. Now I will change the model, and I will be using the base model. The number of steps will be 60. Also, the CFG needs to be changed. So even this image generated using the base model looks bad. There is a different node developed for HiDream, still in the beta stage. I will use the connection from above. I am using a LoRA here. This LoRA was published by ComfyUI. The one I'm using was uploaded 2 days ago. I tried these two as well, and today I downloaded the third file, and the LoRA effect is acceptable with a weight of around 40 to 50%. These values were used when I was testing. Now it should work. I will disable the process nodes above and run the workflow. This is the result generated, and it looks good to me. I am not comparing this with the Z image, but it is not as bad as you might have thought. This model operates in pixel space, and we need to try different logic to get the most out of it. Try using the LoRA, the difference is huge. I was about to end this video, but ComfyUI had an update, and the workflow for HiDream was added. Make sure you update using this update batch file. If you are on a stable version, then run the file below to update. And then in the template section, search for HiDream. These two are the latest workflows, and this is the one for the distilled model. And the second workflow is for the base model. I will quickly give it a try. Select an image, and on the left I see two switches. First is about the prompt refiner. It should be pretty helpful with this model. And the second switch toggles the image edit option from text to image generation. So this is the prompt enhancer, which also takes the image and gives us the final prompt based on the image. I will not be using the refiner right now. The prompt here is about changing the background into a neon city. So I will select an image accordingly, and the model is already selected above. I will run the workflow. For some reason, the image generation failed. The problem was with the pixel size. The image I uploaded was of 1024 pixels. Looks like this math node failed, resulting in a smaller empty image. I tried the same here, which proved the problem was with pixels. Keep it around 2048 pixels, and then it should work. The image generated here has the exact same background with the neon lights and the rain effect as per the prompt. A slight increase in detail should make it better. I was using the distilled model. I took the other workflow from the template, which was for the base model, and I will also use the LoRA node, which I was using before. Make the connection and run the workflow. The image generation was extremely slow on my 5060 Ti 16 GB. So I stopped the process and went back to my simple workflow. My workflow took around 8 seconds for one step, which is better than the 35 seconds we saw just now. And the result was generated. The details or the sharpness in this image are on the higher side. There are a few settings in this node that I need to understand, and the LoRA weight needs to be decreased as well. But I will stop the video here and try a few images later. I hope the video was informative. My simple workflow will be in the description if you are interested. And I wish you an excellent day.